together. Radio 91 where it's always better. Where it's always better. Yo, सुबह का सूरज या शाम का रंग, we bring you joy हर जुबान का धन। Community की बात हम हैं आपके साथ, let's spread the love, चलो मिल के साथ। Tune in, turn up, दिल से बात करो, Radio Manu 92 FM के साथ चलो। Every voice counts, हर लम्हा यहाँ, चलो बात करके देखते हैं, let's all shine on। Yo, let's all go। सेहत की बात और dreams to share, Radio Manu 92 FM, we're always there. From unity to joy, we bring the light. Every word, every tune makes everything right. Listen up, it's time to unite. Radio Manu 92 FM, shining bright. Dill se suno, we love and care. चलो बात करके देखते हैं, let's take it there. So come along for the ride. Radio Manu 92 FM, we're by your side. चलो बात करके देखते हैं, your voice, your guide.
This is Radio Manu 90.0 FM. चलो बात करके देखते हैं।
ये है रेडियो मानू 90.0 FM, पेश है सोसाइटी मैटर्स।
फ्रेंड्स, आदाब अर्ज है। मैं डॉक्टर ख्वाजा मोहम्मद ज़ियाउद्दीन, मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी के रेडियो 90 FM से आपका खैर मकदम करता हूँ। सब्जेक्ट सोसाइटी मैटर्स है, जिस पे आपने पिछले कई हफ्तों से, महीनों से इस प्रोग्राम को सुन रहे होंगे। ये बहुत ही अहम, कारआमद और यूज़फुल प्रोग्राम है। मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी की कम्युनिटी रेडियो प्रोग्राम में बेहतरीन माहिरीन को बुलाया जाता है, उनको खुशामदीद की जाती है। आज हमारे दरमियान एक बहुत ही मशहूर माहिरीन प्रोफेसर सुरेश बाबू मौजूद हैं। वो जवाहरलाल यूनिवर्सिटी नई दिल्ली में एक उस्ताद के नाते खैर सर्विस अपनी दे रहे हैं। उनकी रिसर्च, टीचिंग और उनकी तमाम काबिलियत को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमें यह फ़ख्र का मौका है कि वो हमारे दरमियान मौजूद हैं। प्रोफेसर सुरेश बाबू, वेलकम टू यू टू द सब्जेक्ट टू द कम्युनिटी रेडियो ऑफ मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी. This is a program catering to the society matters. And friends, we have today Professor Suresh Babu, who would talk on the area of national education policy, diversity and inclusion. And this is very important to everyone, all citizens of the country. Thank you so much for agreeing and coming here, Professor Suresh Babu.
Thank you, Zia. Thank you and inviting me to be part of this discussion.
As we say and understand national education policy, anything which is national, which is quite important to every citizen. So how do you locate the overall policy documentation process and its usefulness to the people of the country, as a policy document, NEP?
Yeah, good. Zia, you asked a fundamental question about how policy matters for the citizen of the country, especially the NEP 2020. This talks about a lot on the question of how the future of our society and the future of education, and then how the new generation of the educated look at their own prosperity and social mobility. Then actually we need to get a proper perspective about what actually we think about the future of a society where education played a very critical role. From the beginning, soon after the independence, we had policies, and subsequently we have improvements in policy making, and then subsequently we had changes in the system of education. To a large extent, policy actually shaped the way we see education in the past as well as in the future as well. Why sociology or social science perspectives are very important for policy or educational policies, in the sense that all the policies or public policies directly affect the life of the people. As a result, the policy think tanks, politicians, policy makers even academics are also very keen to read the text policies, and they also get the new meaning about what the policy directions are. Similarly, academics are also looking at the policies because India being a developing society and it has its own colonial baggages, so we should have a proper perspective. We should have a proper vision about the future of our society, where I think policy deliberations other than policy documents are very important for the society. One of the reasons why public should be discussing policy in the sense that public awareness about policies, public's perception about the policies, public view on the education about the policies largely would give a different direction to the society. So therefore policy is not merely for educationalists, for the actually public at large. Soon after independence, we had structural problems, and educational inequality was one of the major component in this context. And these inequalities are sociological in nature, they are structural in nature. Economy was also very poor during independence. So we wanted to see a change in the society, both in terms of the material transformation happening, at the same time how society is going to be a modern society. Because of the diversity, because of the inequality, because of the structural problems that is rooted into caste systems, religious differences, regional differences, these are the set of problems from the beginning policymakers were concerned about. So if you look at a social science perspective on the policies, certainly some of these sociological issues are very pertinent issues in front of the policymakers. But at the same time, when the public, when they look at, then they read the perspectives on the policies, public perspective on the policy is very important, right? That's why I thought as a student of education, as a student of sociology, public policies to be discussed at large by the public, so that public awareness is very important, public consciousness is very important, so that this becomes a cornerstone for the social transformation of the societies. Right? Public awareness about the policy is very important. I mean, that is actually lacking. Or this kind of debates, I would think that in the future also people will get much more understanding about, as well as they can also reflect on what the policy is going to shape their future and the future of our society.
Yeah. Very interestingly, you wrote about the large, long process of formulation of the policy and then role of the people, role of the public. We are located in a IT hub, information technology hub. Hyderabad is one of the very vibrant city of the country. So at one location you have these knowledge cities coming up, designated knowledge city, whereas national education should be designating every zone of the country as knowledge hub. So this gap between know-how and in terms of know-how and not having know-how is one concern. Other is that how do we, address the concerns of marginalizations in this larger perspective. Because public policy is to address that. But as a researcher, and any citizen who is listening this program, how they will understand the whole process of marginalizations if these policies are not addressing.
Correct. Yeah, one side there is a policy perspective, there is a lot of talk in the public domain about the policy. Second one, how these policies can be realized. And what is the role of the public? Then the question largely to see that, recent research would indicate the fact that the new forms of inequality is widening in India. And one of the reason widening of inequality is because of the fact that asymmetric distribution of educational resources across the communities.
Yeah.
Right? So the future of inequality going to be determined by the current educational inequality. So there's a worrisome for the policymakers and a researcher like me, who is keenly looking at how the inequality is perpetuating in the field of education, then there is a worry for the policymakers also, not only for the teachers and the students, but also future of our society. Now, how you get into this problem of inequality and deepening of inequality because of education, then we should be looking at very closely what are the sociological implications of this inequality because of educational inequality, where sociological studies prove that marginalized communities are not adequately representing in the educational institutions. Here questions are not merely because of access question. Access is one side of the, we are not denying the fact that the access cannot be seen, but certainly access is one of the issue. But the question of exclusion is something beyond access question, in the sense that when the students get the admission, especially students coming from the marginalized communities in the schools or in the higher education systems, they are unable to relate themselves with the, especially in higher education institutions, because higher education institutions still elite institutions. They cater a particular section of the society, and this create a kind of a merit, right? How society produce merit, certainly because of elite institutions. So in India, we have a asymmetry, not only in social systems, but also asymmetrical relationship between the institutions. We have elite institutions, we have a medium-sized institution, but there are weak institutions without much of qualities. So there is a hierarchy among the institutions, right? Certain elite institutions. Now, since the government is not much investing in higher education, there is a growth of private sector also. Since this new trend of privatization is going to reproduce inequality, this is one of the major concern for the public, because education at the end of the day has been seen as a public good. This has to be affordable to everyone. It has to be accessible to everyone. At the same time, there should be a quality of education also. And these are the major concerns educationalists actually confronted with now.
Yeah.
Right? Since the system is asymmetrical, educational system is also producing inequality. Teachers, researchers have a greater challenge, how we tackle these issues. Therefore, to my mind, inequality is certainly reproducing. Our research suggests that how do you handle this issue? To begin with, we need to have a public investment in education system, and then should make a system more inclusive. That is the only possibility we have to think about the future of education, to make more of inclusive.
Okay. So friends, we take a very short break at the Society Matters of Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Instruction Media Center runs the program, so we will be back soon in a minute.
You're listening to Society Matters, Radio Manu 90.0 FM's Welfare Show. ये है रेडियो मानू, एक कम्युनिटी रेडियो स्टेशन।
So join the wave, come along for the ride. Radio Manu 90.0 FM, we're by your side. चलो बात करके देखते हैं.
Your voice, your guide.
ये है रेडियो मानू 90.0 FM। आइए अब सुनते हैं द माइंडफुल मिनट।
अपने आप को फतह करना सबसे बड़ी फतह है। अफलातून।
Ann Lander said, and I quote her, "It is not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings."
कथा सरित सागर जो हमारा महान ग्रंथ है, एक तरह से कहावतों का, सुविचारों का, उसमें कहा गया है सही स्थान पर बोया गया सुकर्म का बीज ही महान फल देता है।
This is Radio Manu 90.0 FM. You were listening to the Mindful Minute. सेल्स, मार्केटिंग और ब्रांड प्रमोशंस के लिए हमसे राब्ता करें radiomanu@manu.edu.in पर।
So join the wave, come along for the ride. Radio Manu 90.0 FM, we're by your side. चलो बात करके देखते हैं।
Your voice, your guide.
You're listening to Society Matters, Radio Manu 90.0 FM's Welfare Show.
So, friends, welcome back to Radio Manu 90 FM, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, subject matter society, subject matter. As we have been having discussion with Professor Suresh Babu, a renowned educationalist. Welcome back, Suresh Babu. आपने बहुत relevant सवाल पेश किया था. These are very relevant questions in terms of, education as public good. And I just wanted to, if you can reflect upon the question of, the shift of investments or expenditure on public universities have gone down. And is it because the elites are moving to private institutions, or it is something other institutionalization process that is making private institution more elite? We already have elite institution within public, which is still not accessible to everyone. So how do you look at this journey of shifting of educational institutions, and then the question of people who want to access these institutions?
Yeah. See, we are a democratic society and one of the youngest and one of the very successful democratic country. If we claim it, then certainly the resources available to the society has to be distributed across the people, right? We cannot just speak democracy only in terms of the electoral politics or only party politics. Democracy has to be deeply rooted. For to deepening the democratic process, citizens are to be educated. That is the first attempt.
Yeah.
There, I think there is no dearth of funding. This is a political will. Right, the policymakers and the politicians, our parliamentarians also should be very serious about how to make public institutions specially funded by government so that this can be available to everyone. So this is the first premise. Second one is that investment in education or investment in people is a long-term process, long-term development. So our focus should be people, not for economy. Subsequently, the economic changes would happen. So, therefore, we need a new perspective about the policy, not looking at the economic growth to begin with. Rather, we should be investing on people. We have resources, but we need to have a political will to how to distribute the resources. Therefore, to my mind, other than policy making, our politicians also should be seriously thinking in the parliaments about how to invest on education and how adequately resources are to be given to institutions. The second set of problems is that now the trend, because of the political economy and the ideology behind the market, the trend is changing to in education, especially moving towards privatization, both in the sector of in the public sector as in the professional higher education as well as the schooling. Now, although we claim that right to education becomes a universal, and then we have adequate educational institutions to cater the need of the larger population, in higher education we are still lacking because the demography, the youth population is one of the qualitative transformation happened, and this demography has to be utilized for the well-being of the society. Then we need to invest more on higher education. Their funding matters a lot, And this funding patterns now recently shifted, and the privatization is now rampant, and then government is not much investing. So government is withdrawing slowly and retreating in public investment. It is not only at the national level, even many states are also in a more to inviting private sectors, especially South India. And this new trend of privatization certainly affect the access question, and also it would affect the different sections of the society. Those who are marginalized group, they are going to be worsened because the cost of education, right? Since you talk about the cost of education, it is surprising to look at that the government of India may be spending roughly around 25% of the total expenditure. The rest 75% of the expenditure comes from the household. Okay. The recent studies show that a student, when a student goes out of a school, out of a home for studies, 75% of the expenditure is borne by the family, household expenditure. Therefore, household expenditure is going up, and the government investment on education is going down. So it will be a burden for the families, and especially backward communities, women, Dalits, minorities, Muslims. I think they are very poor, they cannot afford it. Therefore, exclusion becomes almost legitimate in the face of privatization. This is going to be a major issue.
In fact, ये बहुत interesting मोड़ पे आपने लाया. The very interesting juncture that you leave this question, and I'm also, in a dilemma to understand, as a citizen, not as a researcher, but as a citizen, that education is a public good, and at times you also consider it as a right, fundamental right. All these are very important, and these becomes very important for every citizens. And these questions needs a lot of explanations. We will come back to these questions after the short breaks. Yeah. Friends, we have a very small break at Society Matters of Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Radio 90 FM. We'll be back in a short moment.
आप सुन रहे हैं सोसाइटी मैटर्स, रेडियो मानू 90.0 FM का वेलफेयर शो. This is Radio Manu, a community radio station.
So join the wave, come along for the ride. Radio Manu 90.0 FM, we're by your side. चलो बात करके देखते हैं.
Your voice, your guide.
Let's listen to अर्ज किया है.
आदाब, मैं हूं डॉक्टर हशमत. अर्ज किया है में आज हम बात करेंगे अली सरदार जाफरी की. शिकायतें भी बहुत हैं, हिकायतें भी बहुत, मज़ा तो जब है कि यारों के रूबरू कहिए. अली सरदार जाफरी उत्तर प्रदेश के कस्बे बलरामपुर में पैदा हुए. लखनऊ और अलीगढ़ में तालीम पाई. उनका शुमार उर्दू के अहम शायरों और अदीबों में होता है. उन्होंने तरक्की पसंद तहरीक को परवान चढ़ाने में अहम रोल अदा किया. तुमने फिरदौस के बदले जहन्नम देकर कह दिया हमसे कि गुलशन में बहार आई है. तू वो बहार जो अपने चमन में आवारा, मैं वो चमन जो बहारां के इंतज़ार में है. अली सरदार जाफरी का शुमार उर्दू के मुमताज़ तरक्की पसंद अदीबों में होता है. खून की लकीर, नई दुनिया को सलाम, पत्थर की दीवार, एक ख्वाब और उनके अहम शेरी मजमूए हैं. तरक्की पसंद अदब और इक़बाल शिनासी उनकी नसरी तसानीफ़ हैं. उन्होंने एक रिसाला गुफ्तगू भी जारी किया था. उनकी अदबी खिदमात के एतराफ़ में उन्हें ज्ञानपीठ अवार्ड और इक़बाल सम्मान के अलावा कई एजाज़ात से नवाजा गया. अर्ज़ किया है में आप सुन रहे थे बातें अली सरदार जाफरी की. आपसे होगी दोबारा मुलाकात इस उम्मीद के साथ. आदाब.
आप सुन रहे थे अर्ज किया है. marketing and brand promotions? Write to us on Radio Manu at manu.edu.in.
So join the wave, come along for the ride. Radio Manu 90.0 FM, we're by your side. चलो बात करके देखते हैं.
Your voice, your guide.
आप सुन रहे हैं सोसाइटी मैटर्स, रेडियो मनु 90.0 एफएम का वेलफेयर शो.
वेलकम बैक टू रेडियो 90.FM का मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी. वी हैव विद अस प्रोफेसर सुरेश बाबू फ्रॉम जवाहरलाल यूनिवर्सिटी. सो सर, हम लोग बात कर रहे थे पब्लिक गुड, एजुकेशन एज फंडामेंटल राइट. As a common citizen, as a civil society member, is it also not the responsibility of people, what we call as a fundamental matter, so civil society? So the one question, do we really have civil society? And if at all we have, why not civil society understand this, that education is their importance of education is very important, and this is not only for national development. Community has to own it. Community has to understand about educational policies and its importance, and that does not come in Indian social structure. And we are very happy about talking about IT city, IT hubs, new things which is very attracting to all of us as a citizen. But there is nothing which changes our life until unless education comes to our home. As you said, 75% are born by the households. It should be vice versa. So how do you look at this dilemma, that absence of civil society, or if it is there, how do we see them and their role in terms of making education as important part of their life?
So no doubt about that. RTE, right to education, comes to be a fundamental right under the Constitution. It is not the will of the politicians. Actually, it is the result of how people articulated. There is a movement, education right movement, right, and it's still vibrant across India. So therefore, we had a educational movement. It was quite vibrant, and it also could influence the policymakers to make right to education. Right, we have a brief history about this, how right to education comes to being as a fundamental right in the Constitution. It's because of the people's movement. And what happens, you are right, now there is an absence of civil society, especially the role of the community, taking the responsibility as major stakeholders in the education. But when Panchayat Raj institutions introduced, and the right to education was introduced, and there was some kind of a consensus in the sense that school education in the villages to be seen or monitored by the local self-governed institutions also. So there was an attempt to have a proper participation of the local level institutions in the everyday functioning of the schools. So this also got into some troubles. Our research also showed there is a power relationship, because the local bodies and how they would interfere into the affairs of the educational institutions, teaching communities also may not be liking the way the interference of the local level institutions. So this also got us some kind of a trouble. But when it comes to some of the progressive states in Kerala, this was quite effective. But some tribal communities could not happen, in Madhya Pradesh also. So it varies how the communities, local level institutions negotiate with the process of education. It varies, it depends on how civil society active and sensitive towards education. Right? Second question, if historically looking at this, we got an understanding that modern education brought by the Britishers came from outside. Since the modern education came to us from outside, there was a lot of collective responsibility of how this modern education came to us, because we have not inherited from our tradition. So there was a tension from historically. Modern education came from outside. But after independence, look at the entire spectrum of our understanding about the polity democracy change. Despite we got independence, our approach to education still something like a modern education came from outside. Right?
Yeah.
This is one of the
Yes.
paradox. So we have to take a collective ownership to the education, no matter whether it came from elsewhere. At the end of the day, education for the citizens of the country. This collective responsibility, communities have to take it very seriously, but somehow that is not happening. Now, what is the new system evolving in the educational system, in the educational field is that studies suggest that the quality of education, not merely because of the school or educational institutions, what they offer, but also depends on the quality of the community. So if a community takes care of the institutions, then to a large extent, we can maintain the quality of education. I have a best example from Ladakh.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been tracking what is happening. Say last 20 years back, the education was very poor in Ladakh. So the literacy rate was 1.2%.
Oh.
Right. There was a movement. There was a community. Community took care of the education institutions,
Yeah.
and they were supporting all the requirement for the teachers, because Ladakh being one of the most backward region of our country, most of the teachers come from elsewhere. Since they are coming from outside,
Yeah.
there is no support system. It is the community gave all the support to the teachers to stay back and to contribute to the education. Right. So therefore, many examples we have, but it is not at the large scale. So that is lacking. I'm sure that community takes care of the institution. Certainly, it will be a qualitative change and a transformation in the education system.
Yeah. Thank you so much, friends. You were watching, listening, Community Radio 90.FM of Maulana Azad National Urdu University. हमारे बीच आज प्रोफेसर सुरेश बाबू जो जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी से आए हैं. Thank you so much, Professor Suresh Babu, for joining us today at Community Radio. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Friends, thank you so much for watching this program. Community Radio subject matter was Society Matters of Maulana Azad National University. इंशाल्लाह फिर अगले मुलाकात में नए गेस्ट के साथ नए मौजू पर नए दिन में मुलाकात होगी. उम्मीद है कि आप इस प्रोग्राम को मुसलसल देखते रहेंगे, सुनते रहेंगे. बहुत शुक्रिया.
You are listening to Society Matters on Radio Manu 90.0 FM. चलो बात करके देखते हैं.
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो मानो 90.0 FM. चलो बात करके देखते हैं.